Welcome to the EDLD 5345 Week 3 Assignment Overview. This week is all about mindset, motivational theory, and instructional coaching. You got to remember, buy-in is key to success. So here are your weekly objectives. Upon completion of those weekly objectives, you'll be working towards these course objectives. There will be no discussion board this week. Here are your readings for the week. Just a note, the two articles on motivational theory, you're going to choose one of those, and we'll talk about that in the assignment. You got 2 lecture videos from Jim Knight, who is well known in the area of instructional coaching. 7 success factors of instructional coaching, and why professional learning fails. I think you'll enjoy both of those videos. Your to-do list. Read your required readings, attend or view the weekly web conference, view the lecture videos from Jim Knight, and complete your week 3 assignment. This week's assignment is a key assessment for our department's accreditation. So we'll be looking at the data from this assignment. You need to be sure that you work hard on this assignment and receive a rubric level 2 approaching in order to receive a weekly grade, and that you complete all assignments in this course in order to receive a grade in the course. You're going to find 2 documents when you look at the assignment box in this week's module. You're going to see the week 5 assignment template and some case study information. So let's talk about the case study information. This is just meant to be a broad stroke to give you bits and pieces of information to help you make decisions for the instructional coaching plan you're going to do on this case study teacher. You would have a much more detailed information and packet of information if you were doing this on a campus for real. This is kind of what you're going to see on the 268. You're going to watch a video, you're going to have some information, then you're going to have multiple choice questions on how to grow that teacher instructionally. So you've got information on walkthroughs, you've got additional information about how many years the teacher's been on the campus and as a teacher, what her classroom looks like, number of students, number in special pops. You've got some broad data information. Don't overthink this. This week we're going to give you the area that you're going to work on with this teacher. So that should help you as well. So in section A, you're going to look at growth and fixed mindset. You've got 2 charts you're going to fill out. One is just on general types of mindset. The other one's going to kind of break down the components of T-tests. It always comes up, my district doesn't use T-tests. These are going to be broad subject areas that could fit within any piece of an evaluation system, or things you want your teachers to work on. So chart 1 looks like this. You've got characteristics of behaviors on one side, type of mindset on the other. You just have to write growth or fixed in that column. We gave you an example. More data-driven in instructional performance practice. So if that teacher's digging into the data, they're looking at what their students need, they're going to be a growth mindset teacher. So we put growth mindset. Chart 2 is a little more complex. You have the area or dimension for T-tests here. You have a column for fixed, you have a column for growth, and you have a column for skills you will need. So, your example, goal setting. That is part of the T-test evaluation system. So when you think about goal setting and you think about teachers, if that teacher has a fixed mindset, they're going to come in, they're going to make a very broad goal because it's all about checking it off the list, crossing it off the list, getting you off their back and saying they did it. Check that, done that. If you got a growth mindset teacher, they're going to really sit and reflect on how they did on their evaluation, how their students did on their scores, how they can best meet the needs of their students, and they're going to develop their goal based around that. So when you think about skills, these are skills that you're going to need to grow in and developing in. One big one's going to be questioning skills as a leader, especially a structural leader. In any kind of conference, you want to use the 90-10 rule. They talk 90% of the time, you talk 10% of the time. So you're going to ask them reflective questions and keep prodding those reflection questions until you get them in the direction you want them to go. So that's going to be a key piece and a skill that you're going to need as you move into instructional leadership. Section B is about motivational theory. Again, you've got 2 articles. You're going to choose from one of them, or you can read both of them, and then you're going to answer a series of questions. You want to reference the article as you're writing. You want to use APA. So here's an example. What are the main points of this reading? Focus on the concepts, ideas, themes, and not individual facts. Type your answer here. We're not going to tell you how many words or how long. You need to write to the point where you've answered it in depth, you meet the points on the rubric, and you've used APA format referencing your reading in your books or in your articles. So there are some samples there. Like you put the author's name, the date, suggest, and what he tells you in the article. There's that Al Purdue website. Again, muddiest points is something that is going to be something that's not clear to you. Just, are there any questions you have after reading it? Part C is all about the instructional coaching plan. So this one, we're going to ask that you look at the case study information, and then you're going to develop an instructional coaching plan in the area of dimension 2.4 on the T-test rubric, which is differentiation. So we're giving you what skill you're going to work with this teacher on. So review that case study information. There's some helpful resources, your look-fors, your rubric, some sample conference questions. If you use those sample conference questions, you do not have to cite them. I repeat, you do not have to cite them. So if you lose points on that, let your section professor know, and they will add those back in. But you're going to focus on dimension 2.4 of the T-test rubric, which is differentiated instruction. So here's what the template looks like. I know some of you may be instructional coaches and you may use a different form. We ask that you use the one in the assignment template. It has all the points we're wanting you to figure out and think about. And so that's why we're asking you to use this template so it's uniform. So you're going to put the date of the conference, pick a date, like February 12th. Put the teacher's name, Ms. Cardinal. Put your targeted coaching questions. What questions are you going to ask this teacher to get them thinking about what they do in their classroom in the area of differentiated instruction? What worked, what didn't work? Choose your sample questions. So that targeted coaching topic, 2.4, differentiated. Choose those questions. Don't have to cite at APA. Then you've got your evidence. Here's another piece where you can copy and paste. And this might be the only way you're going to copy and paste, but you can copy and paste that evidence. So copy and paste it. You're looking for examples of what that teacher did, what you saw in that observation that led you to they need to work on differentiated instruction. Identify a SMART goal. Remember, in general, a SMART goal is something that is specific, it is measurable, and it's time-bound. If you don't know what a SMART goal is or you haven't developed one, be sure and Google that and research that because you're going to put the S, the M, the A, the R, the T to get that SMART goal. You're going to put some resource here. Resource to support the need to improve in this area. So how do you know this teacher needs to work in differentiated instruction? How do you know differentiated instruction works in the classroom? Pull a couple of articles from the library or something that you've read in the past that you can use, or even information in your textbook, Rethinking Teacher Supervision, or Leverage Leadership, or Breakthrough Principles. Just put a couple of lines in there and be sure to cite that in APA format. Suggested strategies and skills. So what are some suggestions for them to work in this area? You're going to list those there. Here's some just some ideas to help you with improving teacher instruction. Jim Knight's work on instructional coaching, Marzano's instructional strategies. You can put that topic in the Lamar library. As part of being a Lamar student, you are eligible to use the library and pull those research articles. You're going to use your username and password from your email. The book Getting Better Faster is another great book from Brambricks and Toyo. You will recognize that name from your Leverage Leadership book. This is a great little book. I'm going to be honest with you. I've had it on my shelf. I hadn't used it much, but went to some training and it kind of spurred me into thinking I want to relook at this and relook at how we could use this in 5345 to get y'all prepared for being an instructional leader and for that 268. This is Teach Like a Champion. Another great book with great strategies to work across the board in all grade levels and subject areas, but those are some great resources for you. As you're moving forward and thinking about the 268 and even moving into that principalship, you're going to want some good, solid books in your library for resources. Those are 2 great books. Your Leverage Leadership book is a great book. Breakthrough Principles and that Rethinking Supervision, and we can't say enough how much you will use that documentation handbook and how much it will keep you out of trouble, showing you exactly how to word things, state things, etc., so that they stand up if you get into a legal situation or a grievance. So let's continue with the coaching plan template. The next bullet is where you're going to put modeling, explaining, and exemplar. That's that step-by-step of how you want that teacher to use that strategy in the classroom, what you're expecting to see. The next bullet is evidence. How are you going to know it's going to work? So how are you going to know if that strategy worked? What are you looking for in the teacher? What are you looking for in the students? What kind of evidence do you want? A timeline. Are you going to ask them to do some research? Are you going to ask them to plan with another teacher or plan with you? Go visit a teacher? When are you going to come back to observe them? What's your timeline for them? You're going to put that there. Support and resources. Those could be any of those articles you pulled or books. You just want to stick those in there for the teacher to have resources. And again, you want to use APA citations as needed. Section D is all about documentation. Again, if it's not written, it didn't happen. You've heard our guest speakers talk about the importance of documentation and having that and have good solid documentation. So much like that coaching plan is going to be a piece of documentation, we're asking you to create 2 more documents of any type to show support, formal or informal conferences, or resources provided to this case study teacher for the school year. These are going to be documents that you would use if you want to go to your personnel or superintendent and say, I don't want to renew this person. Or if you end up in a grievance or lawsuit situation, documents that you would use there. So be very careful that you got those dates on them. You're specific, that it's facts and not opinion. That Texas Documentation Handbook has some great templates for you. You're free to use those and then fill in the information for the teacher. And again, you don't have to cite that, just create those documents. You can attach the template and those 2 documents together as one submission, or you can copy and paste your 2 documents into the assignment template. That's totally up to you. So that completes our overview for week 3. I'm going to leave you with a quote. No one cares about your fears, excuses, or so-called reasons of why you shouldn't do what you need to do, and neither should you. Chasing big dreams requires doing things that you don't want to do. In fact, the things you're afraid of the most are usually the exact things you should do. You don't grow from what is easy, only from the hardships you face. The more you challenge yourself to overcome your limiting beliefs, your fears, your doubts, the sooner you will reach your goals. And that comes from Kobe Bryant. I just want to encourage you as you're developing this instructional plan that you kind of step out of your comfort zone, that you look for those strategies that's going to help this teacher grow and develop. As you're thinking about modeling and the things you're going to ask this teacher to do, be brave, be courageous. Give them some tasks and some ideas, or even put yourself in that situation so that you can help grow that teacher. Again, as an instructional leader, you are responsible for growing every member of your staff professionally. And with that, I'll leave you and tell you to have a great week.